Obliviscaris. Welcome to Soundwave.
How you doing?
Thank you for having us.
Oh, hang on, here's my pump up.
How you going?
Very subtle. Now, boys, the Neo brand, the Neo powerhouse, is on that kind of right direction now. I mean, it's you've always had an incredibly passionate fan base, especially in Melbourne and around the world, in fact. But you know, it's been few and far between albums because you want to get it right.
Yeah, I mean, we like to take we like to take time with the music we create. It's I guess we don't want to release necessarily something that we're unhappy with. We want to be able to create the best product that we can for that period of time that we're making it.
We just take our time to do things, and when it's ready, it's ready. And we're sort of grateful that when we have put something out, that things have gone really well, and the band's going from strength to strength, and the response to Citadel was amazing and really blew us away. And it was like just everything associated with the band just went times 2 or 3 just in the space of a few weeks, which was very exciting for us.
I think I messaged you or maybe someone else when I first got the album, and I was like, I don't want to piss in your pocket, but this was game-changing shit. Citadel fucking blew my mind, and I thought this needs to be out there. The world needs to hear this album, because it's one, I'm very proud because Australian band, and I love Australian music and I'll always push it.
Yeah.
But it was so world class and so different from what anyone else is doing. So congratulations for that.
Yeah,
it means a lot.
I guess we just try to be ourselves. And it's great that comes across well, and people are responding well to what we're doing.
It's a hell of a story, that whole album. In fact, you can pick it apart and listen to little bits if you want to, but for the full experience, as I did, sit at home with them, headphones on, and get lost in it.
We tended to have that kind of a response, particularly in reviews and things like that. They didn't necessarily say pick out a song that you would like. It was more so you've got to listen to the album as a whole. And
it's sort of it's the music that you can't rush. Even if you wanted to do something quickly, you can't, because one track goes for 3 days, and then there's so many different intricate parts to it. So
I guess the first song goes for like 23 minutes, and we split up into 3 tracks eventually. But when we were putting it together, we realized, hey, this is sort of a 3-song album. And is that, is that like a bad thing? Like, will people think that we're like,
cheating them?
Yeah, cheating them off like stuff. But it's like the same length as like most albums, like 48, 49 minutes or whatever. And it's just the way we write. And I think we wrote this album in a really quick amount of time. And instead of hurting the writing process, we think it made it a lot more focused and really helped it. And I think that's why it sounds the way it does, like this free-flowing thing from the beginning to the end, because that's how we wrote it. We just got a pit and we thought, this could be a really good way to start the record, and this song flows into that song, and that bit could work with that, and like a jigsaw puzzle, we were putting together all at the same time.
I think we were probably more focused as a band overall, purely because Benji, our guitarist, was with us from the start of this album, whereas Portal of I, he kind of came halfway through.
That was the Visa drummers, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, even before that, like more than half of Portal of I was written before he was even in the band.
Yeah.
And so, we had a lineup change during the writing of that record, which we, changed the sound of the band a little bit, and that probably contributed to why that album is so insanely eclectic.
It's a good album, nonetheless.
We like it.
Yeah, well, mate, you set a very high benchmark with the Portal of I, and Citadel achieved everything that it needed to do, I think, and it's one of those things where it's so different from what everyone else does, and you understand, like a band who has your traditional drums, bass, guitar, maybe a rhythm guitar and a singer, but you guys have so many different elements. I wonder how that songwriting actually comes to be, because, I mean, does everyone have little ideas and you go, like you said before, Tim, that it flows and that bit might go with that bit, but how do you find those bits? Does everyone bring their own stuff in?
Yeah, it depends on the song. So on this record, Benji really contributed a lot, like, for the guitars, more than anybody else, and that really had a big impact on the direction. So, sometimes, he would come in with like 4 or 5 minutes of music that sounded amazing, like it was, that he'd just done at home by himself, and then, the band would sort of hash that out and slowly turn it into a 10-minute song. And then, other times, like, I guess on that though, like Painters of the Tempest, like the original version of that was about 6 minutes or so. and which is, I guess, part 2, movement 1, which was mainly written by Benji, and we sort of worked on that with him, but like it was mainly his ideas, and just filtered through the band. But then the whole rest of that 23 minutes is really, really different. Like the movement 2 and movement 3, had big elements that were just jammed out in the rehearsal room, with a lot of input from Brendan and Matt and myself and everyone, and just everyone in there, trying out ideas. And so it's that mixture of just us getting in a room and jamming out ideas, and people going home and doing stuff, and
And then do the lyrics come later after that?
Well, lyrics is part of the writing process.
Okay.
As we write the songs, I tend to get a feel of the music, and it develops from there. I don't write everything at the start or at the end. It's work in progress with the music.
Goes back to the jigsaw thing that you were talking about before.
Yeah.
It's like all the pieces fall into place, and by the end of it, you've got a story.
Yeah. Like often when we're writing, we'll be 2/3 through writing a new song, and Zen will send us an email saying, "Hey, this is the title for the new song. What do you guys think?" And that's all he has to start off with. But just get a theme, and he's sort of working on developing those ideas while we're still working on the music. And and then once the guitars are done, then we'll start going, okay, well, we got to finalize the bass and the violin and the clean vocals, and work out, well, in this section we could do a guitar solo or a violin solo or clean vocals or heavy vocals. Which one do we want to do?
Yeah.
And go through that for every section. And a lot of it's pretty organic, though.
Yeah.
I mean, by the time we finish the guitars, often we've worked out about half of that, and then we just keep communicating with each other and throwing ideas around.
Yeah, I think we're becoming more in sync as we
develop and evolve. Kind of thing,
absolutely, and we kind of
Understand
know
each other more.
Yeah, we know what's going to come next, or what's going to fit more than, say, my vocals or Tim's vocals and that sort of thing. Yeah.
What's the background then? Because you mentioned the song titles, and they're quite poetic and eclectic in themselves. So do they come from you?
Yeah,
Zen?
I write all the lyrics. Yes.
So do you obviously read a lot? Where do these poetic things come from?
I read a lot of old literature and poems and things like that. Since I was very young. One of my favourite poems is a piece by John Milton called Paradise Lost, which is an epic poem, and it's probably the biggest poem that's kind of impacted me the most. Every line has to be dissected, and I find enigmatic writing intriguing. I like to explore words and explore stories. I don't like, and at the same time when I write, I don't necessarily like to spoon feed people. I think that's boring. I don't want to be telling someone what they should be doing. I want people to, use their imagination to, I guess, get their own spin on it. I mean, I have my own meanings behind it, but
so we have to twist his arm to work out what our own songs mean when we're writing them. So we'll be shooting off emails saying, "Hey, Zen, what does this word mean?" Like, especially for me, because I've got to sing it. So it's like, I probably should understand what the hell I'm singing.
Yeah, to get the right emotion involved.
Yeah.
Exactly right.
You start singing something up, and it's like, no, dude, that's dark.
Yeah.
Sing that dark.
Well, when I write, I don't necessarily write dark parts for Tim. Tim usually comes to me with melodies.
Yeah.
And I'll kind of write
we do
to accommodate his kind of.
So yeah, we do a little bit of a mixture. Like, I might have a section where I have a really strong melodic idea, and so I'll record like a demo of a vocal melody, and then I'll give him a list of this vocal melody could work with a sentence that's anywhere between like 7 and 11 syllables. And then that line can be like 6 to 8, and it's so because you can do variations of how lyrics fit in with melodies or whatever.
People think my job's easy.
Yeah, so he does pretty well, because like, every now and then he'll have an idea that works really well lyrically that might mean I have to change the melody slightly, but in general, we try to just communicate with each other in that regards, and that's definitely something we got better at over time. And I think we got better home recording equipment now, which is good. Makes it easier for me to actually, instead of just sending them syllables, I can also actually send him the melody to listen to make sure it fits and all that sort of stuff.
You can't just send him like an audio file of, like you said, your melody and go, trust me, at the start of it, go, trust me guys, this will work. This is going to work, guys. So what's next then? Where do we go from here? The tour? after Soundwave?
Well,
Yeah.
I think after Soundwave we're going to Alice Springs.
Yeah, on March
That
7th.
festival. Is that the
No, we're just
festival
doing
there?
our own headline show there.
Oh, right, okay.
Which is great. So so that's really exciting, going to
So
Alice Springs.
Yeah, we haven't played there before, so it should be
Yeah.
an interesting experience. Hopefully it won't be as hot as what Adelaide was yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah, although we've been warned that it probably will. I think we posted up on our Facebook yesterday about it being 40 degrees in Adelaide, and someone from Alice Springs actually posted up, just wait till you get here.
48,
And so,
whatever, yeah.
Yeah, after that we got we have a couple months off touring,
Which-
and so we're going to start writing some new material.
Cool.
Yeah, try and write as much as possible because we're aware of how much, I guess,
Takes time.
how busy we will be for the rest of the year, and
Yeah.
we don't
Yeah.
want to kind of leave it too long to release something different.
And then
So-
we're going everywhere.
Everywhere.
everywhere,
Like
or even Australia, because we're looking at maybe touring here towards the end of the year as
Yeah.
well.
So we're doing
more
like
an extensive one.
Hong Kong, Japan, Israel in June, and then at the end of that tour we're going to do some big festivals in Europe like Hellfest and Grasspop and Tuska in Finland and things like that. Then we come home for about 2 weeks, and then we go back to Europe for another month of festivals, which is going to be amazing. And then we come home and we're just working on a North American tour, and we're working on another Asian tour, and we're hoping to go maybe back to India next summer and do an Australian
That's
headline
right, because
tour.
you went over like
and-
for what? Was it 2 shows over
Two
there?
festival shows.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
they were massive.
yeah.
Yeah, and Guwahati, which is kind of northeast of India, was the biggest one, and it was,
Yeah. It was about
really
10,000 more than we had ever played to. There was like
Yeah,
about
so-
12,000 people there.
Wow.
it
which
was
was insane, so-
surreal experience. Like,
And they dug
it's-
it.
Yeah, it was.
Well, I think they're really open-minded people.
Yeah.
It's kind of reminded me a lot of Japan,
Okay.
because they don't necessarily care what sort of music you play. They're willing to kind of listen and kind of absorb it all.
The crazy thing with that festival was it was a 3-day festival, and on the Saturday night there was this Bollywood pop star headlining, and there was about 10, 15,000 people there.
Yeah.
And we're like, okay, well if the Bollywood pop star gets that, there'll probably be like a few hundred for us because we were headlining the next night. And then all these different kids and some of the same kids all turned out, and there was 12,000 people there, and there was circle pits and everyone banging their heads, and
It's amazing.
like up in the far northeast of India, like up near like Bangladesh and Nepal, and like places like where we never thought we would even get to visit, let alone play to that many people. So
I think I saw that same reaction when you found out you were going to Israel, didn't you?
That's right. I think
Could
last
you
time we
ever,
spoke to-
ever think
No.
that you would go to Israel to perform Ne Obliviscaris?
Yeah,
Never.
No.
I never even contemplated touring there
No.
because I know that kind of, I guess, region overall is kind of not where bands would maybe generally tour.
Exactly.
Well, especially in the past.
Yeah.
I think Australian bands grow up as the band develops, thinking, we got to get to Europe, and we got to get to North America, and so everything else is bonus, But I guess the crazy thing for us is that as time has gone on, we've realized more and more that we have fans everywhere. We have fans all over the world, and if people are saying, hey, I'm from this country and there's lots of people here that like the band, then we want to go.
That's great. And that was part of the Kickstarter program. You tell us where to go and we'll go.
That's exactly right.
Exactly. Well, put it in their court. And
Yeah.
And that's worked a treat. Guys, thank you very much for the time and enjoy the rest of the tour.
Thank you, man.
My
Much
pleasure.
appreciated.
Thank you.